Are you serious? Are you serious? Well, I don't know. Is anybody serious? Is there any end? I don't see no end in sight right now. It would take a miracle, and we're going to talk about that. First of all, let me just say this real fast. www. Actually, just click on the link below the video. Just go to bhmd1.com/Paul. That's bhmd1.com/Paul. We've been told our whole lives that the wrinkle creams were the easiest way to look younger. But now one doctor says that's nothing but old news. According to Dr. John Lakey, that world-renowned Beverly Hills beauty expert, he says most wrinkle fixes on the market are nothing but glorified moisturizers. They hardly make a dent on your appearance, and some are even harmful to your skin. And recently, Dr. John Lakey has focused his attention away from the mainstream cosmetic practices. Why? So that he can pursue a revolutionary anti-aging breakthrough, one that some experts say could empty the wallets of the cosmetic industry. And it's almost like photoshopping your face. I mean, what? Are you serious? Yes. You may even be mad when you see just how easy it is to take those wrinkles away from the view. Guys, his personal clients have dubbed this the new do-it-yourself technique, the age rewinder, because it can take decades off your appearance in like 2 minutes. What are you talking about, Pastor Begley? I mean, it's shocking, really. It's amazing. And in light of this new amazing breakthrough, Dr. John Lakey has released a step-by-step video, free, uninterrupted, to the public to see how to do it. Click on that link below the video. It'll take you straight there. Go to bhmd1.com/Paul. You'll be glad that you did. Oh, yeah. Well, it's incredible. But he's done a great job with, pulling this stuff together. I'll be honest with you. Well, we're only 5 days away from the webinar. It's going to be incredible. Wow. I mean, some of you are going to say, Pastor Paul, you should have just told us how good this was. I've tried. I think the best thing I can do is say, just watch it. And I know how good it is. It's incredible. And these guys have really done a great job. The presentations are amazing. BP Earthwatch is really bringing the smoke on this one. And the information, Gil Brazard's prediction and James of Earth Change's prediction is incredible because they have analyzed this, and the graphics are unbelievable. It's just incredible. And then wait till you hear what Rex Bear had to say about Area 51, his trip to Area 51, and others he interviewed who had been there. Plus, Ryan Wood, the UFOologist. It's a great interview. Rabbi Kurt Schneider. I mean, this guy's amazing. And the interview with all the audience. So, guys, get your ticket. You can go right now. Go to my website right now. The webinar's Friday. The webinar's Friday. You got 4 days. The webinar's Friday. Get your ticket right now. Go to paulbegleyprophecy.com. Go to www.paulbegleyprophecy.com. Or you can pick up the phone and call right now. The phone line is open. Call right now. 765-414-2230. That's 765-414-2230. Call. Get your ticket right now. Get your ticket. Don't miss it. You'll be glad that you did. Well, let's talk about President Donald Trump's phone call that is taking place as we speak with President of Russia Federation, Vladimir Putin. And then Trump is going to make a phone call to President Zelensky after he talks to Putin. Guys, I'm starting to say something. I'm not so sure this thing's going to happen. I mean, the phone call is going to happen. But I'm starting to say I don't see no end in sight. And according to J.D. Vance earlier today, or last night, no, this morning when he was leaving Italy, because he met with Pope Leo the 14th briefly, but he had a short meeting with him. I just don't know. President Trump is set to hold this critical phone call this morning as we speak. They are probably on the phone as we speak, from what I heard, with Russian President Vladimir Putin. amid rising tensions between the two countries over the Ukrainian war. Trump has said he will discuss the war with Putin and then will hold a separate phone call with Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky, as well as leaders of other countries that are supporting Ukraine. In other words, the NATO countries. Trump campaigned on a vow to end this Russia-Ukraine war, but has had very little success so far, largely because Putin has been really in no hurry to end the war. He's winning. He has offered very little concessions, and there have been signs of growing frustration with Vladimir Putin in the Trump administration over his stance on the war. Now, Putin has been accused by some in the West of slow-walking Trump. I think that's exactly what he's doing. And last week, he sent lower-level officials to a meeting in Turkey after rumors that, somewhat fanned by Trump, of course, that Putin could actually show up for those talks. Now, Putin said he was going to be there and invited Zelensky to meet him in Turkey, in Istanbul, of course, with President Erdogan. So Trump then said, well, if you guys are meeting, I'll be willing to come over there. If you guys want me to, I'm right in the area. I'll come over as well. But when Putin heard that Zelensky was going to go, Putin backed out. Now, Secretary of State Marco Rubio has left those talks before they began giving the level of officials sent to Moscow. Rubio said that at the time that a discussion involving Putin and Trump was the only way to move this peace process forward. Trump announced the call with Putin on social media Saturday that he would be having a phone call with Vladimir Putin today, and he said, we've got to stop the bloodbath in Ukraine. Hopefully, it will be a productive day. A ceasefire will take place. And this very violent war, a war that should have never happened, will end. The president has been seen by critics as siding too much with Putin over Zelensky and Ukraine over the war. A sense that has had testy blow up, of course, at the White House back in February during an on-camera press event with President Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky. Since then, Zelensky has worked double time to signal his appreciation for Trump's efforts and has even agreed, and they've already signed an agreement, that the United States, the mineral rights in Ukraine will be handled by the United States as a form of repayment to the United States in support of the war. The United States will be mining gold and silver and uranium, as well as coal, gas, and oil out of Ukraine, splitting the profits 50-50 with Ukraine in a way to help pay back the amount of money that Joe Biden spent on the war. The U.S. has been pressing for a 30-day ceasefire to this war, but it has not happened. Matter of fact, Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, had a discussion with his Russian counterpart on Saturday in which he suggested that the Vatican could be used as a site for future peace talks between the countries to end the war. So look for Pope Leo to actually get involved in this discussion between Putin and Zelensky, and as Marco Rubio now, who just also was in Rome for the Pope Leo's first Mass, as well as Vice President J.D. Vance. They were both there for Pope Leo's inaugural Mass at St. Peter's Square with 200,000 people. After Pope Leo spoke, he did have a short meeting with Vice President J.D. Vance. And that was an important moment because Vance also was the last official to have a meeting with Pope Francis 5 hours before Pope Francis died. And then it's J.D. Vance right there having a brief conversation with Pope Leo. And then Zelensky had a meeting with Pope Leo yesterday evening. So it looks to me like that the Vatican wants to be involved in the conversation to try to bring peace to this situation. Also, J.D. Vance met with President Zelensky in Rome, as you can see right there. That went very well. So that's good as well. But the real question is these two men. What will this conversation today be when they're on the phone this morning? And what will Trump's takeaway from that be? Now, when Trump gets done, if Putin, I have a feeling, I don't see any end in sight, to be honest with you. I think that Putin's strategy is what I've been saying, is that he is in no hurry to end this war. No hurry at all to end this war. Okay? He's winning. He's winning the war on the war of attrition. He's winning because the United States wants out of the war. We're no longer going to fund it anymore. Trump has said that. We're getting out of this. We're not going to spend money on this. And since Putin knows that, then he's really in no hurry to settle and end it. He can just wait till Zelensky runs out of ammunition and supplies and energy, and then make another major offensive move toward trying to take the capital of Kiev. If he can take the capital of Kiev, he can take the country. And, you got to know that Putin, being a KGB agent, you got to know he knows exactly what he's doing. He has, as we've said for years, Putin is playing a world-class chess game, and everybody else is playing checkers. Now, I will say that Trump is not playing checkers, that he's entered the chess match, but he's entered in a disadvantage by the time he got to the table. So we're going to have to see, does Trump got something, does he got a Trump card up his sleeve? Is he got something that he can use that can rattle Putin? Is he got, or does he have an olive branch that is attractive enough to Putin that he'd be willing to end the war? Putin wants more than just what he's got. Putin wants more. But Trump has got a signed deal now with Ukraine, okay? And that signed deal with Ukraine definitely gives the United States motivation to protect the oil fields, the coal, the gas, the gold, the silver, the uranium, and other precious metals. We've made a deal. We're going to mine that. We're going to drill that oil. We're going to get our hands on those resources. We're not going to let Russia take those. We're going to take those. We're in position. We're going to keep those. So that'll be part of the pushback by Trump is, look, you can have, if you're going to take Ukraine, you're going to take it, but you're not going to touch any of the precious metals. That's ours. We've got them. We've got a signed deal, and we're keeping it no matter what you do. And that's going to be part of the push that I think Trump is going to throw out there. You have to understand, Putin doesn't want NATO in Ukraine because he doesn't want NATO at his doorstep. No way. He's already upset about Norway and Sweden joining, in the process of joining NATO. That's already going to put NATO up there near him. So he wanted to keep Ukraine as the buffer, the buffer zone, the buffer area between NATO. But if he takes Ukraine, he will be right at the border of NATO. He'll be right there, sitting there looking at NATO across the fence in Poland and in Romania. And he knows, but he doesn't want NATO. He don't want Ukraine to become a NATO country and then NATO set up shop right at his doorstep, okay, with Ukraine, by using Ukraine. So both sides are are trying to keep position to protect themselves long term. You can't blame Putin for that. I'm not blaming Putin for that. I'm actually not even blaming Putin. He's doing what he's got to do to protect his own country. Zelensky's doing whatever he can do to protect his country. And NATO's doing whatever it can do to protect all of the European nations. And the United States is caught in the middle here, which is what Trump has been saying from the very beginning. This is a war that should have never happened in the first place. And that if they hadn't done the Russia collusion thing back when Trump won the election in 2016, if Hillary and James Comey and that whole Robert Mueller Russia investigation and the fake dossier that came out of Christopher Steele, the ex-MI6 agent out of England that lied like a dog. And, don't you remember Peter Strzok and Lisa Page and whoever she was and all of the other people and all these lies and the smashing of the emails and Hillary crushing the phones and the Russia collusion, delusion, infusion. Remember all that? That's what kept Trump from being able to put something together with Putin, or there wouldn't have been a war. There would not have been a war. That's why Trump is so upset. Now we've got a war. Now we've got thousands of people dead, bloodshed everywhere. Putin even hit Ukraine yesterday with 273 drones. It was the biggest drone attack since the war began. So, yeah, you're right, Roxanne. It was collusion. It was delusion, collusion, infusion, no solutions. Instead, we get war. And now Trump is trying to fix it. He's got to try to fix this war, should never happen. He's got to try to fix the Gaza war, should have never happened. Thank God he was able to stop Pakistan and India from going at it. But I'm serious. We got problem, and then he's trying to stop Iran from getting nukes. He's got that problem to work on. And then we got our own issues here in America. Can't get the interest rates down like they should. I don't know what Powell, everybody's dragging their feet. Why doesn't Jerome Powell cut the interest rates by another 0.5% right now? And I mean, the economy is turned. The economy has definitely turned and could really take off if we could get Jerome Powell to drop the interest rates, but he don't want to, because it's all part of a strategy to just try to slow walk Trump through 4 years and keep America, keep the American people slaves to the tax system. I don't see no end in sight of this war, and I'm not so sure. I'm hoping that Trump gets off the phone and Putin says, "Okay, let's have a ceasefire and let's sit down." But I just don't expect it, and I think Trump's going to get done with Putin, and then he's going to get on the phone and he's going to call Zelensky. And this is the deal, guys. What J.D. Vance said this morning on the phone on the plane leaving Italy was, I'm not so sure we can get any. He said these words: "I hope Trump can make something happen, but to be honest with you, I don't know how it's going to happen. Putin doesn't really want to end the war. He wants to keep moving and going forward." And he said it's possible that the United States may have to wash our hands of this whole situation and just let Putin and Ukraine fight it out and just back out. We don't, and just let them figure it out. And that's basically what I heard, what J.D. Vance said this morning. And folks, if that becomes the strategy, if the United States, if Trump just says, "You know what, I'm done with this," and he walks away and he pulls out all the funding and says, "You guys work it out," well, then Trump did what he said he would do, and that is, I'm going to get America out of all these wars, and that would be the first one. But it wouldn't be a good. There's no end in sight to this situation. There's no end in sight, and I I don't know. I wish there could be peace. I mean, Jesus is the Prince of Peace. He's the only one that can really bring peace. There will always be wars and rumors of wars. Jesus said it'd even get worse the closer we get to the end of time, the closer we get to the coming of the Lord. So just pray. Really pray for this phone call that Trump is having with Putin, that God can move and that wisdom can come and that cooler heads can prevail and this thing can end. Really pray for that. We really going to have to pray because we're getting to a point now where it's not about politics, but it's about prayer. It's really not about political maneuvering. It's about God maneuvering with prayer. And then the same thing with Israel situation. Israel has made a major offensive today. Hamas doesn't want to surrender. Hamas doesn't want to let go of any more hostages. Hamas is saying, we're not going to do nothing. Come and get it. Israel's saying, okay, here we come. It's an ugly situation. This world is exactly what the Bible said would happen in the last days. This is exactly what is happening. It really, really is. I mean, it's just... It's going to take prayer. Get your tickets for the webinar. It's going to be powerful on Friday.
He was saying grace over a Tuesday Blue Plate special when the man in the next booth said, don't you watch TV? Don't you know that God's a myth? I hate to see you waste your breath. There ain't no use in you talking to a ghost that don't exist. The praying man said amen and looked up from his plate and said, you may not talk to God right now, but there's gonna come a day. If you're a farmer in the field, praying for the rain, or you curse him at the gravesite, 'cause he called a loved one's name, you can thank him, you can blame him, either way you're gonna face him. Whether you believe in him or not, in the end, everybody talks to God.
Oh, that's right. It's not about politics. It's about prayer.
The man in the booth went quiet, 'cause he didn't have a comeback. So he shrugged it off and he paid his tab. He shuffled out the door. And the praying man, he prayed for the man who drove away, hoping he would see the light before it got too late. But how was he to know he touched an unbeliever's soul, who got that conversation 2 red lights down the road?
I've got a scripture for you.
In the field, praying for the rain, or you curse him at the gravesite, 'cause he called a loved one's name. You can thank him, you can blame him, either way you're gonna face him. Whether you believe in him or not, in the end, everybody talks to God. Everybody talks to God. You can thank him, you can blame him, either way you're gonna face him. Whether you believe in him or not, 'cause in the end, everybody talks to God.
Oh, that's right. Thank God. We're all going to.
Everybody talks to God. We all talk to God.
So we're going into this webinar on Friday. It's going to be so powerful. And a couple things, though, to think about. Like I said, it came to me. This isn't about politics. It's about prayer. That's how this war is going to come to an end. It won't be through politics. It will be through prayer. And then I'm reminded in the scriptures, and just now, and I picked up the Bible to read it, and this is found in the book of Proverbs. If you go to the 21st chapter of the book of Proverbs, the Bible says, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. Say that again. The king's heart, or the president, the leader of a country or a kingdom, his heart is in the hand of the Lord. And just like the rivers of a water, the Lord can turn his heart whichever way, whithersoever he will. So what can help change the king's heart? God can. And what can change the direction of things? Prayer. So if my people that are called by my name would humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, God said, I will forgive the sin. I will heal the land. I will hear from heaven. If my people are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from the wicked ways, I will hear from heaven. I will forgive the sin and heal the land. It's not politics that's going to bring this war to an end. It will be prayer. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it wheresoever he will. Every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord pondereth the hearts. To do justice and judgment is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. A high look and a proud heart and the plowing of the wicked is sin. The thoughts of the diligent tend only to the plenteousness, but of everyone that is hasty only to want. The getting of treasures by a lying tongue is a vanity tossed to and fro of them that seek death. The robbery of the wicked shall destroy them, because they refuse to do judgment. The way of a man is forward and strange, but as for the pure, his work is right. Okay, so the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, and as the rivers of water, he turneth it wheresoever he will. That's why we need to pray that the heart of Vladimir Putin, the heart of Zelensky, the heart of President Trump, the heart of anyone and everyone that's involved in this situation will be moved by the hand of God. I think Trump's trying every way in the world to end this war. I think his heart is in the right place. Now we need the power of prayer. We need the power of prayer. As I said, it won't be politics that ends this war. It'll be prayer. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. Certainly the tornadoes and bad weather is really disturbing. There's now 28 people dead over the weekend. And there's still there's going to be today and tomorrow massive tornado destruction that is anticipated. guys, really, I'm concerned about what's happening, what's going to happen in Kansas and Oklahoma and on into, Missouri and Alabama and Mississippi and Tennessee and Kentucky and Illinois and southern Indiana and up to throughout Indiana even. It's today and tomorrow, very, 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 very dangerous. Very dangerous time. So please pray for our amazing online church members out there that are in the midst of the storm. I'll be back with more right here on the coming Apocalypse.